After the mainstream access media spent months and months doing damage control and PR spin for Disney regarding the disaster that was Snow White and Rachel Zegler, now that it's out in theaters, now that people have seen this, now that people are reviewing this, and now that we're getting the box office numbers, it's impossible to spin this any other way than a monumental, catastrophic failure for Rachel Zegler and Disney. Box office, Snow White limps to alarming $42.2 million domestic opening and only $86 million globally. This was the news after the first weekend at the box office. And then we saw a flurry of other things come out. Disney may be trying to throw Rachel Zegler under the bus a little bit. Disney absolutely deserves a lot of the blame, but so does Rachel Zegler. Let's not get it wrong. We've seen the audience scores. One of the worst ratings we've seen in history on IMDb, with Snow White sitting at a 1.5 out of 10. But would it have a good hold at the box office? The media was telling us maybe this can have great legs. People are going to go watch it. We promise. You'll see. Well, that wasn't exactly the case, because not only did it have a devastating collapse at the box office in its second weekend, the worst we've ever seen for one of these Disney live-action remakes, but it also already was dethroned. Box office upset. Blue-collar drama A Working Man declares victory over Snow White. Yes, Jason Statham, A Working Man, just beat Snow White in its second weekend. Disney isn't standing down just yet. Says the race is too early to call. Well, the race has now officially been called. A Working Man debuts with $15.2 million in about 1,000 fewer theaters for a movie that costs significantly less, by the way. And Snow White has a 66% drop at the box office. That's it. Snow White will have to start charging for those pies, crashing and burning at U.S. box office after Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot grossed just $14.2 million. A shocking 66.4% drop from opening weekend. Worst drop ever for a Disney live action. So not only did it have the worst opening we've ever seen, but it also just had the worst second weekend drop. And these pitiful returns, this box office drop, it's starting to remind a lot of people of the Marvels. And I think it rightly should remind them of the Marvels. The Marvels box office drop is worse than this infamous Marvel movie flop. And yes, no secret, the Marvels not only had the worst opening we've seen in the history of the MCU, but it also had the biggest weekend drop that we've ever seen. And something interesting to note about the Marvels that went on to make around $200 million worldwide. This movie had about $160 million worldwide after its second weekend at the box office. Snow White is sitting there at $132 million. $132 million globally. Now, most people expect it to have slightly better legs than something like the Marvels. I mean, Marvels had like a 78% drop. Snow White only has a 66% drop. But this is the territory we're now talking about. You know, a lot of people thought this could limp to maybe 400 million. More people thought, no, it's barely going to crack 3. Now they might be struggling, legitimately struggling to get to $200 million because the international numbers that they're pulling in are not good. They are not positive. It's crashing and burning everywhere around the globe, not just in America, but everywhere internationally. It's almost like you could see this disaster coming a mile away. Rachel Zegler torpedoed this movie 2 years before it even had the chance to get off the ground. Disney made a lot of terrible decisions, casting her in general, the stupid CGI dwarves, completely bastardizing and destroying what the original movie meant in order to give us this modern age gobbledygook that they tried to pass off as some sort of adaptation of Snow White, which it absolutely was not. The audience has spoken, people are not showing up, and now Disney, quite possibly, could lose $300 million on this thing because the production budget was about $300 million at least. The marketing budget at a minimum is $100, likely more like $150 million. And if this thing only gets to around $200 million, $220 million, somewhere in that area for its global box office run, it means Disney's only actually taking home a little more than $100 million from that. Disney Snow White is now potentially on pace to lose Disney $300 $100 million. You should have just scrapped this thing, but here we are. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.